So millions and millions of people use
Millions.
artificial intelligence to this day already, whether it's to unlock your phone or to find the fastest way to the DoubleTree at Orlando without getting lost in Florida traffic. My name is Jeanette, and I just wanted to remind you, just like anybody else, nobody really is an expert. I'm certainly not an expert in AI. I'm not an expert, but what I am an expert in is doing the least amount of work possible, and I use AI to do that. What I'll talk about are 5 new things that you can do with AI, and all of these are things that you can do in minutes, 5 minutes to create some of the videos and presentations and whatnot. And then I'll talk about how to flip the classroom or use this in education. And this QR code will be available at the end as well for you to download my presentation and have a link to some of the videos. All right, so if you didn't already know, you can use AI to present slides for you. It can write code and solve your problems. You can use artificial intelligence to translate into different languages, to narrate audio in case you lost your voice, and to produce videos. Let's talk first about how AI can help you present slides. Have you ever had to create an entire presentation but only had an outline or notes? Well, there is an AI tool that can help you.
So I'm going to show you something called slidesai.io, and this is what it looks like. It's actually not a separate software. As you can see, I just installed it as an extension in Chrome, and I'm using Google Slides when I open up this extension in Google Slides, and it gives me a little prompt. And what I've done beforehand is I had this script that I'm just going to copy and paste into this prompt. I'm going to tell it that I want an educational slide, maybe instead of 10 slides, I want it to be in English. Oh, and they have themes. I'm going to choose a theme. And right after I select the theme that I want it to look like, it right away populates for me the slides with words, and not just words, but graphics that match each of my slides. And you can see in the upper right-hand corner that I'm searching for graphics to replace the one it chose, because maybe I want PPE to talk about gloves and tools. And if there's something that I don't like, I can edit it just like you normally do in a slide. But as you saw, probably within 5 seconds, it generated a full-on presentation for me. And all I had to do was copy and paste some notes I had or a script related to a topic. So that is slidesai.io. Pretty cool.
So, and I'll be showing videos throughout this presentation because it helps me save my voice, but slidesai.io, enter text, and it can create slides with graphics for you. But what if you didn't have an outline or notes? So one of my biggest fears is waking up and not being prepared for a presentation and only having a topic, right? So what do you do if you just had a topic or a thought but needed to present that day?
So if you had a topic and you had to present that day on a training that you weren't prepared for, go to Tome. So Tome looks like this. It's a basic website. You don't need any special tools. You basically just go and create something new and you give it a topic. So let's just say I'm going to give it a topic called Artificial Intelligence for Risk Management. Literally about 5 words, Artificial Intelligence for Risk Management. And you can see it's creating a presentation for me. It's creating an outline. It's populating it with words just based on my short set of words, creating not just a presentation, but you can see it starting to add graphics. And what's different about Tome is it's creating it's creating generative artificial intelligence graphics. So this is original art. It's using something called DALL-E that based on your words, it's gathering and synthesizing images and creating new things that match your slides. And if there's anything that I don't like, you can see I can select on the right a little drop down and just type in words to describe what I want to see on the slide. And then when I click on generate, like I entered depict a university administrator worried about artificial intelligence, after I generated it, I can select any of those different graphics and it'll go ahead and create a brand new slide with the brand new image that it created from scratch. Pretty neat.
So Tome, enter one sentence and it'll create an outline, text, and original images and artwork for you. So apart from presentations, as you know, artificial intelligence can help you write and solve problems. And we're all familiar with ChatGPT just because it's so well known, and it's well known because it gave the simplest answers to some of the most complex questions. But not only can it create answers to questions, it can also create scenarios for you to use in your educational pursuits. It can create writing prompts or playwrights, because sometimes you just need a tool that writes for you as quickly as possible.
So in this example, I'm going to show you that you can create a script out of it for an entire video. So I'm writing in the prompt, write a script for a 10-minute video about introduction to sexual harassment in California. And you see how quickly it's creating the script. And not only did it write me a script for this 10-minute video about the topic I wanted it to write about, it gave me a shot list. So between the narrations, it told me what kind of images I needed to take in the real world so I can match it up with the script.
So I'm building in this presentation from a script to a full-on video, but you can start with ChatGPT, tell it just write a script for a 10-minute video about whatever you want it to do. And as you know, these are writing prompts. So if you haven't really used ChatGPT or any AI, you can ask it to write in the tone of somebody, to write me a presentation in the tone of Christopher Walken, right? You can consult with it. You can say, criticize this document as if you were a certain role, such as, criticize this document, criticize this email as if you were my mom, so that it can be nicer. Explain to me a topic as if I were 10 years old, right? Explain to me workers' compensation as if I were a 10th grader, because I need information to be simplified.
So scripts are certainly one thing that you can create, but not only that, you can actually take those scripts, whether you generated it or if ChatGPT generated it, and it can translate it for you. So check out this example where I've taken the script that it gave me, and now I'm telling it, translate this script. I didn't even copy and paste it again. I just said, translate the script into Vietnamese. And do you see how it not only is translating it, but it's also adding those marks above and symbols above the letters? Well, I told it, well, hold on a second. Why don't you translate it into Mandarin? And it not only remembered the script beforehand, but it started to rewrite it with the special characters that you find in Chinese writing. So you can use ChatGPT and paste an entire script into it, or an entire set of words, no matter what content you're pasting. You can tell it to choose a language, and ChatGPT will translate your words.
So you can paste a script or any document and choose a language, and ChatGPT will translate your words, which I find really useful when I'm creating handouts for courses for people who have different languages. Not only can you translate, but you can also use it to generate assessments.
So here's an example of ChatGPT taking a script, and I'm telling it, create a 5-question multiple choice test based on the script, and do it in English because I just told it to translate it into Mandarin, but I want it to give me a test in English. So you see how quickly it creates the question and answers and gives you a key. Well, now I told it, put it in a table with like the answers in a separate column from the question. And so it not only creates text, but it can format it into the form of a table. But the point is that you can paste a script, or it'll remember the one you just pasted, and you can tell it to create a test. So as long as you choose a test type, like in this case, multiple choice, ChatGPT will create questions and answers for you.
So you can create a multiple choice test based on the script just by pasting that script, choosing a test type, and it will go ahead and give you the answers and pop it into a table as well. But what if the information that you need to convey is not something that ChatGPT can find on a web page? Sometimes we need to extract information and work with information in an article or an electronic book. So ChatGPT doesn't do that. Neither does Claude or Perplexity. It doesn't read documents, but there is an AI that can read documents for you.
So here's an example of something called ChatDoc. You know, often in the work that I do, I'm given a very technical document or a governmental document that is written with a lot of letters and a lot of words, and I'm asked to understand it and summarize it. Well, I can either copy the URL it came from, or I can save it. And you're seeing me now just taking a copy of that PDF. I'm uploading it to this website, and this website will analyze it for me and will completely understand it. And so now I'm going to ask it a question on the bottom right-hand corner about it. I'm asking ChatDoc to summarize this in 7 bullet points as if I was an 8th grader. And very quickly, it summarized it in very easy to understand bullets as if I was an 8th grader. But I'm in the world of training and education, so I'm asking it, what training should universities provide to its researchers to understand the requirements of this document? And it gives me exactly what we need to pass on to researchers, tells me the disclosures that I need to go over, and then I tell it, oh, it's pretty complicated. But it allows me, as you can see, to jump between the different sheets where it cites the information that it's giving to me, because I just told it, explain as if I was a 5th grader. And it gave me that information. And it also pointed out where in the document it got to that conclusion of its explanation. So it's pretty amazing.
So ChatDoc, provide a website or a file, and it'll summarize the information, and you can ask it questions as if it was a person who already was familiar and an expert in that ebook, in that journal article, or whatever you're needing to convey. So we talked about how AI can help you translate languages using ChatGPT.
AI is also very useful to translate languages. So I'm going to show you an example of something called DeepL, D-E-E-P-L, pretty cool. You might be familiar with something like this in Google Translate, where you write out the words on the left, and on the right-hand side, it'll translate it for you into any language that you drop down from the list. But it doesn't just do that by you typing. And so here's an example where I can select from my computer any document, whether it's PDF or a Word version or a PowerPoint. And after I drag and drop, it'll upload, and then it'll ask me, well, what language do you want me to translate it into? And if I choose, for example, Spanish or Russian or Italian, no matter what language, it'll translate it in the matter of seconds. It'll ask me, where do you want to save it? And I tell it where I put it. And look at what it does. It translated my entire document. That's an example. This is a real life example of it translating into Russian. And not only did it translate it, but it used the special characters of that language. And if you notice, it also kept the formatting. So here's the formatting it kept, and it can be used to translate any document and keep its formatting. So there is a PDF you can drag and drop, and there's a PowerPoint you can drag and drop. As long as the text can be selected in some way, this tool, DeepL, can translate it for you and keep its formatting. And if you notice, it also kept the formatting.
So that was DeepL. You upload a file or copy and paste a URL, and it can translate it into any language, and more importantly, keep the format the same. So on the right is an example of handouts on the bottom right that I translated. I didn't have to re-edit it, but I've actually used this for training courses, so an online e-learning course where it translated the content, which I later narrated with another AI, which I'll show you now. You can use artificial intelligence to narrate audio for you.
So I have this problem where often training and education, or any work that I do, I need to talk to people who speak other languages in their native language. So what you're seeing me do here is I'm entering some text into DeepL, I'm translating it into a language. And then once I find that language, maybe it's Russian, maybe it's Turkish, I'll copy those translations, and then I'll go to something called Speechelo, and I'll paste it into their prompt. And on the right side, you can see that I can choose a voice, I can choose a language, and right as soon as I choose the language and the voice, it'll give me a voiceover in that language.
Los criógenos se utilizan en diversas aplicaciones, como la conservación de muestras biológicas, la química.
Pretty amazing accent in native voices. I can download it. So I just clicked a button, and now I can download it and put it wherever I need to in my trainings. And it doesn't just do that for languages that use Roman alphanumeric characters. I'm translating, here's Russian that I'm pasting it into. I'm choosing a voice. I'm telling it I would like this to be Russian as a voiceover, and it'll generate for me.
Вы должны уметь безопасно заполнять баллон жидким азотом, используя надлежащие инструменты, средства NDV.
So pretty amazing that you can use a tool like DeepL or Google Translate to translate words, paste those words, then choose a voice and have it create a voiceover in that language.
So you can download that file and insert it into a PowerPoint and run a video from it. You can make a podcast out of it, upload it into YouTube, Speechelo. So add translated words and Speechelo will generate voiceover authentically in a native language. But sometimes the AI voices sound a little too much like they're computer generated, and maybe you just want to use your own voice to narrate something. So you can check out something called Descript Overdub.
At Blitzmetrics, we use Overdub to correct mistakes in our training videos. What a huge time savings to not have to manually edit segments. And Overdub helps us send
This is Sam from Sam Talks Technology and Podland News. This is my overdub voice. We use it to do commercial ad breaks in our show and to make corrections to existing audio without having to go back into the studio. It sounds great and, importantly, saves us time.
Descript Overdub, record your voice using Descript, and you can use it to edit your errors and clone your voice. So I've used this when I had an existing video, but I needed to change just one word. And instead of editing, re-narrating, I just typed it all out, and Descript used my voice, and it gave me in my audio file that I changed into that video. And what it looks like is you have to read a prompt for it to learn your voice. It does take a day to give you a voice that you can select from the list, but from there, you can type out an entire essay and it will narrate in your voice. And I wish I had something like this for somebody who's no longer with me. If I just recorded his voice, I would hear my father tell me how awesome I am because of my presentation today. But can you imagine? Also, when I lost my voice and I couldn't tell my kids to clean their room, I couldn't yell at them, I could have used a script. So artificial intelligence can create presentations, it can create tests, translate, it can narrate audio, it can also create videos for you.
But now I'm going to go to Steve AI, and I have the script I pre-wrote. So I'm going to just select and copy the script. And once I get those words, I'll go to Steve AI, I'll click on text to video, and I'm telling it, I want an animated video. And then I just go into and paste that script that I pre-wrote. I might edit it, but when I click on next, it'll analyze my words. It'll ask me, what template do I want to use? Well, maybe I want to use this one in the middle. And it'll generate an entire animated video based on my script. It'll create scenes with people that I can go ahead and change out into another character. I can give them different clothes. I can make them do different activities. I can go ahead and give it a voiceover and music. So listen to this.
Sometimes disability checks just aren't enough. Did you know that there is a way to get back to work at full pay, even while you're healing? If your doctor prescribes modified or light duty, your supervisor work with your restrictions, and possibly provide a temporary position for you elsewhere on campus.
So that's Steve AI. Add a script, and it'll create an animated or cinematic video for you. And that used to be something that took months, if not weeks. And now I did it. I did this literally in like 5 minutes. Flicky is another example of a tool, Fliki, in case you want to create more of a cinematic video with the same script.
The University of California's Return to Work program is designed to promote healing, relieve mental stress, and increase your sense of job security. It takes just 3 easy steps. 1. Submit medical documentation. 2. Get reasonable accommodations. 3. Participate in the Work Strong program.
So yeah, Flicky is a really cool tool, just like Steve AI. You do have to have your script written out. But here's another tool that I think will be used more commonly. And it's actually one of the most impressive tools out there for generating a talking head, or as you know, what's it called, an avatar. It's called Eli. ELAI is the easiest one to use. So
Probably one of the most impressive tools I've seen out there is called Eli. And there are a lot of them like this, where it'll create essentially a talking head for you, or what's called an AI avatar. So the way that it works is you just basically open it up, choose a character. Maybe you want to change it out, maybe you want this person, or you want a male, or you want somebody with red hair, or maybe they are wearing different clothes. But basically you can tell it, this is language that I want them to speak into. And if you don't know that language yourself, you can go into something like ChatGPT to paste a set of words and tell it to translate it into that language. Like in this case, I wanted to translate into Arabic. Give me those characters that I'm just copying and pasting it into Eli. And then now it'll generate voiceover for me in multiple languages. I can give it a background, and I can give it words on the screen. It's an all-encompassing video editing tool that uses nothing but your browser. And you don't need special skills. You just need to know how to put the equivalent of a PowerPoint together.
I know I should get a phrase for sure. So the equivalent of a PowerPoint are all the tools that you need to create a video. And I'll show you a sample of how people are talking about me from around the world.
Jeanette is cool. She uses technology to teach people stuff.
Si Jeanette ay astig. Gumagamit siya ng teknolohiya upang turuan ang mga tao ng mga bagay.
Janete es genial. Usa la tecnología para enseñar cosas a la gente.
珍妮特很酷，她使用技术来教人们东西。
So you heard it here, people. People are talking about how cool I am. And if it's on the internet, it must be real. And if you spoke any of those languages, you'll notice that they're pretty spot on and pretty accurate with its accent, better than I speak some of those languages. So Eli, just add a script and it'll create a talking avatar for you in multiple languages. So in summary, you can use AI to present slides using Slides AI or Tome. You can use ChatGPT to write code and solve problems, ChatDoc to look through a document and talk to it as if it was a person, DeepL to translate languages, Speechelo to narrate audio, Flicky, Steve AI, and Eli to produce videos. And if you're really, really savvy, you can use all of these things to make yourself talk in a different language. You can use ChatGPT to create a script in your style or somebody else's, Eli to create a selfie avatar that has your look or somebody else's, and Descript.com to clone your voice or somebody else's. So I'm going to show you an example, and I'm going to ask you whether you think this person is real or not.
Hola, soy Kevin Confetti, subdirector de riesgos en la oficina del presidente, Oficina de Servicios de Riesgo. Tras el entrenamiento esperamos que comprendas que no estás solo y que tu campus cuenta con recursos para apoyarte en este proceso.
So how many of you think that was a real person? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 smart people. Sounds like the rest of you think he's fake. He actually is a real person that I got to speak in another language. And I don't know if you can tell, it looked like he actually could speak Spanish. It took his voice, and I used HeyGen to do that. And all I did was I uploaded a video that I found of him from the internet, threw it into HeyGen, and it took a day for them to get back to me because I'm cheap and I used the free version. But it gave back a video file that I showed him later. And this is my vice president of risk at the University of California to talk, this is a video I used to explain the risks of AI and but the good things about it as well. And he was floored, and actually he wanted me to say more things in other languages, so it was kind of cool and scary. But how do we use this in the classroom? I'll finish up with examples. So you can use this to flip your classroom. Instead of looking at students as vases to fill up with information, you can have them, look for, find the resources for your course and then use these tools to display back. For in history, an example is to create a presentation describing the role of precious metals on the African American slave trade using slides.ai. Biology, write a quiz. Write a quiz to test another group on what they know about different components using ChatGPT. I did this during a conference. I broke up groups into different sessions, and I had them compete with each other on who knew more. English, translate the Spanish work of somebody's literary work and compare it to the English translation of an early colonialist using DeepL. In economics, create a podcast, right? Audio file describing how game theory can be used in the real estate market using Speechelo. And in art, you can produce a video demonstrating the role of comic strips in the 19th century American politics. So this is an assignment you can give to your students using these tools. Instead of you teaching them, have them teach us back by flipping your classroom. And in that way, you are having them convey information and in different modalities. You're tapping into multiple intelligences. You are making things more accessible, having different ways of engaging, representing information and providing action and expression. And I'm gonna end really quickly because I'm out of time, but this isn't really just about the tools. This is about how information is being generated, delivered, created, consumed. And so the more that we can use the tools and learn them now, the faster we will be at humaning. Now's the time, right, to get good at these tools so we can augment our work and do more higher level human things like napping and taking care of our kids. And anyway, so those are the things that I went over today. 5 things you can do that are different. You can create all of these things in minutes and use it to flip the classroom. Here are the tools that I shared. Hopefully this works. But bit.ly/teachwithai2024, if you go there, you can not just download my presentation, but there's a link to the videos that I shared and many more, including Canva and how to make music. And there are cheat sheets to download for ChatGPT in case you want to get good at prompting. My name is Jeanette, and I use technology to teach people stuff. Thank you.